I've posted on here once before. I've experienced so many weird and creepy things living where I do, so I might as well talk about them for you. If you didn't read my first story, then let me set the scene. I live in a very rural area. My house sits on 38 acres of straight woods. Oftentimes I go hunting or I just take walks through little trails I've come across in my childhood exploring them. This happened in October 2022, so I was freshly 16 and I decided to go out for a little hunting then. I got up around 4:45 a.m., got all my stuff ready, got out of the house around 5 a.m. I'm walking down to my hunting cabin and I hear little footsteps running past me. I look up and aim my light and I see an orange cat. I think nothing of it, considering there's going to be some stray animals or just animals exploring this rural urban area. I get to my blind to put all my stuff down and I wait. Sun's barely touching the ground by now, around 5:15 a.m., and I hear footsteps again. Thinking it's a deer, I get my rifle ready and look around. Not seeing anything, I keep looking. There's the orange cat again. Frustrated, I sit back down and keep waiting. Another 15 to 20 minutes goes by and I haven't heard anything since. As I'm looking around, I see the orange cat in the distance again. But it's weird because it was on his hind legs and his teeth were baring. At this point, I'm nervous but not scared. What's a cat going to do if I have a rifle? I think to myself. As I look down to grab my deer collar, I hear more footsteps on the opposite side where the cat just was. I look over, and the cat is right there. Mind you, I looked down for maybe 2 seconds, and the distance that I had traveled had been around 50 to 60 feet. This time it was on its hind legs though. It looked like it was spying on prey like the safari cat you see on National Geographic. At this point, I don't know what the freak is going on, but I'm about ready to leave. If you're imagining this right now, both times the cat was about 30 to 40 feet away from my blind, but I could still see it clearly considering the sun was halfway up at this point. After picking up my rifle, deer collar, and water bottle, I see the cat had moved about 25 feet closer to my blind, still in that same position. I fire off a round in the air so the cat doesn't try anything, but it didn't move. Not at all. Now I'm thinking to myself, what is this thing? It's not moving like a cat. Moving faster than anything I'd seen before. Now, it's around 5:40 a.m. and I'm booking it up the hill towards my house, looking over my shoulder every 2 to 3 seconds. The cat hasn't moved at all, but it's still following me with its eyes. I look behind the cat, further down the hill where I didn't have sight on before, and I see 3 dead deer stacked on top of each other. I don't know if this is by pure coincidence, or if the cat did it. All I know is I booked it even faster up the hill and locked every door and window in my house. I haven't seen that cat since, but I didn't go out hunting that year.
The night the woods knocked.
True story from Plattekill, New York. This is a story my dad told me happened to him when he was 17, and honestly it still creeps me out. He grew up in Plattekill, New York, and their house was this old 2-story place that my grandpa built way out in the woods. Like, no neighbors for miles, just trees everywhere. If you've ever been upstate, you know how isolated it can get. Anyway, one night, everyone else went to the city and left my dad home alone. It was just him, a .22 shotgun, and their German Shepherd Prince, who was police trained and supposedly fearless. The land the house was on was already known for weird stuff. People said there was paranormal activity, even some Native American remains somewhere on the property. But this one night was a crazy thunderstorm. Upstate New York storms are no joke. But the whole house shakes and the woods get pitch black. My dad's just chilling, probably reading or listening to the radio, and out of nowhere, someone starts banging on the front door. Not just knocking, but pounding, but they're desperate or pissed off. Here's the thing. There's really nobody around for miles, and the driveway is long and muddy. No way someone just wandered up there, especially in a storm. As soon as the banging starts, Prince, a big tough police dog, freaks out and bolts up the stairs, actually peeing himself on the way up. My dad grabs a shotgun and follows him, and they end up barricaded in a bedroom on the 2nd floor, with Prince hiding under the bed shaking. My dad's sitting there thinking it could be a bear, but what bear knocks like that? And what if it could somehow get upstairs and break through the French doors? The pounding keeps going, just with thunder and wind. My dad's just sitting there in the dark, shotgun ready, heart pounding. Eventually, the banging just stops. The storm dies down, and there's just this creepy silence. In the morning, my dad goes downstairs and checks the door. Nothing's broken, but there are these muddy prints on the porch. Said they were too big and weird to be a human, but not really an animal either. This day, he has no idea what was out there, but he swears he's never seen prints so scared before or since. So yeah, if you ever end up alone in the house in the woods during a thunderstorm, someone starts banging on the door, maybe just stay upstairs.
I think something came home.
Hello again. Second post. If you're my first one on here, do say that I work in security in an old hospital that is most definitely haunted. I think one of the residing spirits attached itself and followed me home. I usually do my patrols towards the middle of my shift, around 0200 or 300, just to give myself the halfway feeling. My patrols include the closed wings of the hospital, the floors above one, only ground and first floors are open, parking garage, and the historic building. The historic building is from minor times, one of the first hospitals built in the state. Think we're waiting for it to collapse stage. Lots and lots of history. Also, lots and lots of unsettling feelings. So, last night, I'm doing my patrol in the historic building, twisting doorknobs and handles to make sure they're locked. I get this funny feeling in the back of my mind. I'm being watched. Not the first time, this time different. The feeling lingered even when returning to the security office and doing my nightly checks in the ER and ICU. Even when I left to go home, Liam was there. I got home, changed out of my uniform, and I lounged. I'm alone, except for my dog, as my boyfriend was at work. We have nightstands with LED lights that we can program to automatically turn on when you're within 3 feet of the sensor. My boyfriend's nightstand lights turned on the opposite side of the bedroom. My dog is lying on her little cot bed at the foot of the bed, but she's staring at the nightstand with her ears on. For those who own shepherd dogs, you're probably familiar with how they usually keep their ears down unless they're focused on something. The feeling is still there. I'm spooked, so I get up and go to the living room to mess around on my Xbox, and I make some noise. My dog is a Velcro dog. He didn't follow me. Odd. After 15 minutes of just Xbox noise, I hear my dog whimper from the bedroom. I went in to check on her. She's pointing at my boyfriend's nightstand, with her on her back is up. Flash forward to 1600. My boyfriend comes home. We say hi, how was your day, night, and he goes into the bedroom. Why is our nightstands on? Y'all, both nightstands were lit up. As of right now, they're periodically turning on and off. Never happened before, and we've had them for about 6 months now. If it were a defect or malfunction, they would have started this sooner. Oh yeah, it's no longer the three of us.
None of us can explain this experience.
The events of this story are true. I don't know if it was a glitch, a time slip, or what, but it still freaks me out. One time when I was around 9, I was sitting in the back seat of my sister's Jeep Cherokee, along with my cousin. She's also the same age as me. My sister was driving, and my other cousin, around the same age as her, like 17-ish, was in the passenger seat. My sister always took me with her to run errands or trips to the mall. On this day, my younger cousin was at my house, and we were playing in the backyard. My sister just had us tag along. Anyway, we're driving on the freeway, and we see a carnival with rides. The Zipper, that crazy unsafe ride with the cages that spin, could be seen, as well as the Ferris wheel. Me and my cousin were begging my sister to please take us. She said no and made that same exit. It was the same exact exit to head right on the main road, and the carnival was situated to the left. On the ramp, we were on the red light. My sister said she promised we'll go after she returned the shirt or something, and my older cousin needed to buy these shoes on sale. This was before smartphones and stuff like that, late 90s. Besides myself, everyone in my family knew that my sister was always amazing with directions. She even told us she knew exactly where to park, too. We didn't have to walk far or deal with the traffic. I specifically remember that when walking into the mall, I could sense a very faint smell of the carnival elephants' ears and corn dogs and stuff. We go into the mall for no more than half an hour, and walking back to my sister's truck, me and my younger cousin were so happy and excited. All of a sudden, I remember noticing I didn't smell the carnival anymore. It was probably just my excitement, so I didn't even say anything. We get in the car and make our way around the loopy parking lots and inner streets to finally get on the same road we came on, which also takes you to the freeway. The second we turned, there was nothing. Nothing but a continued road on both ends of the freeway exits. No large gates blocking traffic, no large wires on the ground, no distant sounds of children screaming and laughing on the rides. No scent of elephant ears. I'll never forget us all just staring at the blank road. My older cousin in the front seat says, "Oh, they press a button and the whole carnival just went underground or something?" Nobody laughed. We all thought the same thing. My sister then put her signal on, turning left on the ramp, which was originally blocked a half hour before. We headed home. There's no way the carnival shut down, packed, and vanished that quickly. Even if there were, the rides were going. Kids were yelling, laughing. It was all so lively. But even if they started to close down the same instant, it would be impossible to disassemble the Ferris wheel, all the rides, let alone the barricades of blocking incoming traffic with the wires and cones. To this day, we all remember the story in perfect detail. None of us can ever explain how this was possible. By far one of the weirdest things I've experienced.
You laugh.
This event happened in 2001. I went to college in a big city and had 9 friends in my closest circle and my first love. We would hang out almost every day and just living our best lives. During our junior year, we had planned a boys-only weekend retreat at one of our buddies' farms about 2 hours from a city in the country. Well, his dad owned about 200 acres and had a large chicken coop and farmhouse with a pool. We were all so excited. We had no idea that excitement would soon turn into something else that would remain with us for the rest of our lives. That Friday, we all packed our backpacks and left for the country on our motorcycles. All of us rode back then. We got to the farm and the party started. The first night went by, the second night went by. All fun until around 11 p.m. that Saturday. My buddy's dad, that owns the farm that called him on the landline, told him that one of their uncles had died in a small town about 2 or more hours away. His dad was close with the deceased and wanted to check with us if we could go up there and help out the old lady that had just been widowed as she was alone. We all decided to ride there and help out. We left the farm around 11:30 p.m. and rode for 2 hours through country roads, on tar roads and dirt roads. When we get close to the town, there was not a soul on the roads, just us 9 people on 9 motorcycles. The only lights on the road were from our vehicles. Pull over on the side of the road to look for directions. Mind you, there were no iPhones or Google Maps back then. It was the good old-fashioned printed maps. After about 20 minutes of scratching our heads on where to go, we see a light from a car in the distance. One of my friends flags down that car, comes closer to ask where that damn town is. Turns out he is also a resident of that town, so we decided to follow him. It's already about 2 a.m. This guy in the car says if any of you are a smoker, I recommend lighting a cigarette when we hit the dirt road. I ask him why. He replies, "So the witches don't snatch you." I thought it was a bad attempt at humor given the hour. We start following him in a wooded area with a thin dirt road. These ones were different. It was summer months, but these woods didn't have any leaves on them. As soon as we get deep into the woods, this guy in the car rolls down his window and lights a cigarette. That's when I felt it. That eerie feeling deep inside my heart. I ride next to one of my friends who smokes and ask him to light a cigarette too. He just laughed it off. I asked him to stop for a second and bummed a cigarette and light it up myself. Now my helmet is off. I'm puffing smoke, and now my helmet is off. I'm puffing smoke, and the woods have this different type of silence. I get to about half my cigarette, and that's when I heard it. What? A scary, bone-chilling, heart-dropping cackle. I asked two of my friends who were right next to me if they heard it, and they confirmed. I've not heard anything like that ever in my life. We rode close to each other for what seemed like an eternity, 15 minutes in the watch. When we got to the house, we thanked the guy in the car and he drove off. As we parked, we all looked at each other with the same question in all of our eyes. All 9 of us heard that laugh from atop the trees. It was not just one cackle, but at least about 5 times. Anyways, we knocked on the widow's door. He lets us in. Poor lady was in shambles. We helped her out the entire next day and left before sunset. That laugh has been etched in our memories forever. When we get back to the city, after a few days, I asked my buddy's dad about the woods and the witch's story. He told us that legend has it that a witch lives in those woods. It's not just men who happen to be in the woods. She's afraid of fire, and that's why people light a cigarette if they have to drive through there at night. He thought it was all tales of the country folks made up. We never told him that we had experienced this at firsthand. That man in the car who helped us, telling the truth.